So let's start with a big question. Are our beliefs the real reason we do things? Or are they just convenient excuses? Stories we tell ourselves after the fact to justify what we were probably going to do anyway. Today, we're going to dig into a pretty radical idea that flips our whole understanding of human motivation right on its head.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The way we usually think about it is simple. Our beliefs lead to our behavior. Makes sense, right? But the theory we're exploring today flips that script completely. It says our fundamental needs are what come first. Those needs drive our behavior, and only then, after the fact, do we cook up the beliefs to explain and justify what we already did.
I mean, for centuries, this has been the default assumption. We tell stories about ourselves, about other people, all based on this idea that our convictions, our ideologies, our faith, that this is what's in the driver's seat of our lives. But is that really how it works?
All right, so let's start poking some holes in that old narrative. We kind of have this image that huge, world-changing ideologies spread because millions of people just picked up a really dense book and had this purely intellectual aha moment. But the evidence suggests that's rarely, if ever, how it actually happens.
This quote just gets right to the heart of it. These incredibly powerful movements didn't spread because millions of people were individually convinced by reading some complicated text. The reality, people joined for other reasons, for community, for economic stability, for a sense of purpose. The ideology just became the flag that everyone could rally around.
So this is the ultimate test, isn't it? If beliefs really do cause our behavior, then what happens when a belief is completely and totally debunked by reality? You know, like a doomsday prophecy that fails to come true. The group should just fall apart, right? But something totally different happens instead.
And this process is absolutely fascinating. A prophecy is made, the end of the world is coming, but then the day comes and goes, and nothing happens. Logically, the group should just dissolve, but they don't. Why? Because the deep down needs that brought them all together in the first place, that sense of community, of security, of meaning, are all still there. So instead of abandoning the belief, they just adapt it. They reinterpret it, they find a new explanation, they do whatever it takes to keep the group together.
And this brings us to the crucial point. The community isn't there to serve the belief. It's the other way around. The belief is there to serve the community. It's a tool. It's a kind of social glue, a shared story that lets a group function and meet the real material and emotional needs of all its members.
So if our stated beliefs are really just the story we tell on the surface, what's actually going on underneath? Let's take a look at this hidden infrastructure to see what's really motivating us. These are called biological imperatives. And we're not just talking about food and water. As social animals, our actual survival is tied to being part of a community, to having status, to emotional connection, to economic stability. These are the deep currents that are actually steering the ship.
And this is the central metaphor for the whole theory. Think of a building. The infrastructure is the foundation, the steel beams, the plumbing, the essential stuff that holds the building up. That's our material needs. The superstructure is the paint, the fancy design, the art on the walls. That's our belief system. It's what's visible, it's what we talk about, but it is not what is holding the building up.
Now, to really test a theory, you have to apply it to the most extreme examples you can find. And on the surface, what could possibly be more belief-driven than sacrificing your own life? But if we look at the infrastructure here, a very different picture starts to emerge.
If you look past all the ideological claims, you find some very real, very tangible incentives. The targets are often teenagers, a group that we know is biologically prone to higher impulsivity. They're offered immense social status. You're not just a person anymore, you're a martyr, you're chosen by God. They're promised incredible rewards in the afterlife, sure, but, and this is critical, their families often receive very real financial compensation right here on Earth. These are powerful social, emotional, and economic drivers.
And this isn't just some abstract idea. It's grounded in straight-up biology. I mean, look at this chart. The leading causes of death for young people in the U.S. are unintentional injuries, homicides, and suicides. This points to a period of life where the brain's own braking system, the prefrontal cortex, isn't fully developed yet. This biological reality makes young people more susceptible to impulsive decisions and, you guessed it, powerful incentives. Okay, so this theory explains some really extreme behaviors. But what does it mean for the rest of us in our day-to-day lives? Well, the implications are massive. They affect everything from international diplomacy right down to that argument you had with your uncle over dinner last week.
We've all been there. You present someone with clear data, flawless logic, indisputable facts, and they just will not budge. It's incredibly frustrating.
So why does this happen? Well, according to this theory, it's because you're having the completely wrong argument.
And this is the key. You think you're arguing against a piece of faulty logic. You're not. You are arguing against their need for identity, their need for community, their need for security. Their belief is a pillar holding up their entire social world. So when you attack that belief, you're not offering enlightenment, you are threatening their very foundation.
This brings us to a final, powerful reversal. We usually think of people as being controlled by their beliefs, like we're just puppets on a string. But what if it's the other way around? What if we are the ones actively shaping and adapting our beliefs to serve our deeper, more fundamental needs?
So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. What changes if we stop seeing beliefs as this fixed point that defines who we are and start seeing them as the versatile tools we use to navigate our social world and meet our deepest human needs? What would that change about how we talk to each other?